Last week, we gave you a checklist of what to do before you book the gig. This week on episode 8, it's all about how to reach out and touch someone. Well, maybe not physically touch them necessarily, but it's about how to now get in touch with the venue person and actually book the gig. You get it? Last week you got ready? This week you're actually doing it. All right, enough chit-chat. Let's get on with the episode.
Information, inspiration, motivation for the modern musicpreneur.
Time to start your week right.
Here it comes, Music Marketing Monday, with your host, Bob Baker,
Mr. Buzz Factor,
and Billy Gryzak.
the music marketing mind.
Ready? Are you sure?
Set.
Here it comes. Swing, baby.
Well, welcome back. You did it, didn't you? Yes, you did. You pressed the button. You pressed the download button, the play button, and I'm so glad you did. I don't know where you're listening to this right now, but I hope that you're listening to it maybe like with the band, in the van, driving, because we got in the van last week, and maybe this week you can get in the van again and listen to part 2 of this awesome episode. What show are you listening to? Oh, in case you forgot, this is the Music Marketing Monday.
I'm here to help you in case you forget, Billy.
That's right, man. You know, I almost said the name of a different podcast. That was crazy. Anyway, this is Music Marketing Monday. I am hey, half of your brain here. Half of your brain. This is Billy Gryzak, the Music Marketing Mind, and
Bob Baker, Mr. Buzz Factor here. I'm with the other half of the brain. Am I the right side or the left side? I haven't figured that out yet.
Well, is it the right side, the left side, or the right side and the wrong side, Bob?
Wrong side, the bottom, the top, I'm not sure. So here we are talking over each other, but that's good because it shows this is a natural flowing conversation. We probably won't edit this because we want to be raw for our audience.
That's right. 100% audio caffeine to kickstart your Monday morning, afternoon, evening music marketing adventure.
That's right. And you're excited. And when you were earlier saying, hey, you could be listening in the van, I know that was a reference we made last week. People also could be listening in the shower or maybe while they're jumping up and down on the bed, which
possible.
is a reference to earlier episodes for those of you keeping track.
And
there'll be a quiz on this later.
Some people as far away as New Zealand might be listening to the show, get so excited they actually take action and send us a message like this.
Hey Bob, my name's Lisa and I'm the bassist for a New Zealand band called Mirren. I was listening to yours and Billy's podcast about what to do before booking the gig, and at the end I swear you guys were talking directly to me when Billy said his homework. I'd been having some back and forth with a venue about booking a gig via email. Then all of a sudden he just stopped replying. I followed up once a week for about 3 weeks and still nothing. Then today I hear you guys and thought, stuff it, I'll just call. And we've managed to tie down a price, a month, and the promo plan. Now I'm just waiting on the actual date. So success. Thanks guys. I'm totally looking forward to next week's podcast.
Thanks so much, Lisa from New Zealand, for being our very first voicemail recipient. Not recipient, but you left the first voicemail. I actually made that challenge last episode. I gave the address for the Speak Pipe. That's the app that allows people to send us a voicemail. And Lisa was the first one. And so we are thankful that she not only took me up on the voicemail offer, but actually used a suggestion. I think it was your homework that you asked people to follow up in multiple ways. And she did it, and looked what results she got.
And the result is she's the winner. She won the big prize. She got the gig.
That's right, which is what this episode is all about. And so thank you, Lisa. We really appreciate that. And what was that phrase that she used? Was it stuff it?
That's right, man. Just stuff it. I'm going to call and get the gig. So everybody just keep going out there and stuffing it. That's what you got to do. You know, Bob, if this podcasting thing doesn't work out, we could probably get a morning show somewhere.
I think so. It's Billy's and Bob's Morning Zoo or something.
Anyway, so You know what? I did a lot of the talking last week. You were kind of following my lead, but this week I know you've been working real hard and studying and coming up with all different ideas. So what you got for us this week, Bob?
I do, man. I got my backpack on. I got my school books, my Apple. I am ready to learn. And so basically last week, as I mentioned in the beginning, we were talking about, it was all about the checklists, and you had some great lists. Go back and listen to episode 7 if you missed that, things that you need to have in place before you get near a venue and book the gig. But now we're going to talk about how to actually communicate with someone there now that you have these tools and all this stuff set up, and so that you increase the odds that you will not only get their attention, but you will book the live show. That's the whole purpose of this. So one thing I want to point out is that a lot of times people say, I need to contact venues. And that's true. You do need to. You're reaching out so you can perform at venues, but you're reaching specific people at specific venues. And so I always like to remind people of the human aspect of this. And when you approach a venue, it's the same advice that I have for when you're approaching the press. When you have to keep in mind completely what the things are, what it's like looking at it from their perspective. Because the knee-jerk reaction that most people have, most musicians, when they go to book themselves, is they start talking about themselves and their band. And quite often their emails or their voicemails will start off like this. It'll be like, "Hi, my name is Fred. I play in a band called blah, 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 and we play X, Y, and Z, and we do this and that. It's all about me. We would really like to play at your venue." And that's cool. It's a kind of a direct, you're coming, I guess, right to the point, but it's really not the most effective because it's all about you. And so one of the things that first right off the bat is I encourage anyone who is doing the booking and reaching out with these people is, as much as you can, shine the spotlight on them. So instead, your email might start off, instead of saying this long introductory thing, going, "Hey, Fred," assuming that Fred is the name of the venue person.
Yeah, we don't want to call him Fred if his name is Steve, John, or Harry.
Exactly. And that's another important thing, is find the exact name and the direct email or phone number of the person who does the bookings. And sometimes you just need to call or drop by, and who does the bookings here? And they will tell you. They'll give you a name. So anyway, you call and go, "Hey, Fred, it's Bob from the Cyclones here. Love your venue. I saw the XYZ show there last month and loved it. Loved the vibe of the place. In fact, I'd like to talk to you about an idea I have where I might be able to bring some new people and help you sell some more drinks." Then you go into, "I play in a band called blah, 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 and we play this and that." And so you see the difference there in that approach. One is right off the bat, I'm this, I, me, mine, my band, as opposed to, "Hey, I love what you're doing with the club, and you part of pave the way. I've got something exciting I want to talk to you about that I think is going to bring in more people, help you make some more money, and here's how we're going to do it." So I don't know if you've used that approach, but what are your thoughts now that I've kind of spit that out?
Yeah, I've used really similar approaches for different types of bookings because, of course, each type of band, each type of target audience, each type of venue is going to have its own set of rules and vibe that you need to go with. But for instance, when I was booking, let's say, school programs, a lot of times schools, high schools, middle schools, whatever, aren't really into booking musical acts. They're into booking educational acts, right? So I would approach them by saying something like, "Would you be interested in finding out a way that you can improve your students' test scores?"
Oh, nice.
And I have a program where I come in and we talk about the 6 traits of writing, let's say, for instance, and come in for 3 days. And by the time it's done, everybody in the school understands what it is. They know how to use it. And it's a lifelong learning experience. Would you like to book it? And 9 times out of 10, the people that were interested would say yes before they found out it was a music program.
Oh, wow.
So that's one thing, if you're really talking to the core interest of the buyer, it doesn't matter if you, do hula hoops, kazoos, have dancing pigs. If you're going to solve their problem, they're going to want to hire you.
Right. So I guess the lesson there is before you send an email or pick up the phone, ask yourself what's most likely the most important thing for this venue person, not the venue, but the venue person you're going to be communicating with. And not unfortunately, but quite often with a venue like a bar or a coffee shop or some sort of establishment, it's and this is, I've heard musicians and businesses saying this for decades, but they're mostly concerned about the cash register ring at the end of the night. That doesn't mean they're insensitive and they don't like good music. It's just that they can't afford to hire staff and turn on the lights and bring, and open the place up if there's not going to be enough money coming in just to cover their basic expenses. So if they think that they're going to be able to showcase great music and pay the bills and have some surplus, then they're going to be very interested in you. And so you got to hit them from that angle in whatever way that you can address that.
Well, it's a real catch-22 because most venues are expecting bands to come in and bring in a crowd, okay? Mm-hmm. But you can't get a crowd until you played someplace, all right? Now, I would say the best way to get a gig is if you could tell a venue and you're absolutely positive that you can bring in X amount of people. I mean, if I put a gun to your head and said, "Can you get 50 people here tonight?" Would you say yes or no? You know what I mean? If your life depended on it. So the question then comes, what can you do before you book those gigs to start developing a fan base that's willing to follow you to the bigger gigs? You see what I'm saying? So, like, I'm involved in a band right now. I'm kind of managing this band, and what we're doing is we found this band appeals to people who are into, like, horror music, okay, and stuff like that. Video games, things like that. So what we were doing is we found a gallery that does that kind of artwork, and they do, like, they make zombie outfits, and they do sci-fi nights and Doctor Who night and all this kind of stuff, right? And made a deal with the place and the band needed a place to practice, okay? So the band gets to practice there 1 day a week for a month, and then the fourth week they open it up to a live show. But they're open rehearsals, so, like, all the teenagers and people that hang out at this place can come in and hang out with the band for the month before, creating a buzz and building up a fan base. And then I'm hoping after a few months of doing this, when they go to do a bigger show or they're opening up for somebody in town or whatever, they're going to bring a big crowd because they've developed this fan base in their own venue that they created that wasn't even having music. You see what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, which is important. I mean, my mantra for so many years has been focus on fans, instead of focusing on pressing industry people and, reviewers and all that. You really need to develop. Yeah, so that goes without, goes without saying, because we have to remind our musician listeners of the importance of that. So when you're booking, a gig, I mean, I guess the boldest thing you can do is saying we can guarantee we'll bring 100 people out. But that's kind of, then you're relying on, you have to really be confident about that. So beyond that, another level down is you can maybe report your attendance figures at previous shows. Last month we played this other club and we had 800 people there, or 50 people, or whatever the case is. So you can, instead of guaranteeing them, you say, well, here's what we've done just recently. Here's what we did at other venues. We'd like to do the same thing there. If you're really starting out, if you don't have a track record, then just emphasize how much you're going to work to promote it. Say we've got, we're very active on social media. Just show your enthusiasm and just stating that you're going to promote it and we're going to do everything we can to get people out is probably a lot more than a lot of acts are doing, who are just saying, we play this, we're really good, we want to play there, So I guess depending on where you're at is your pitch, but somehow find a way to focus on that core benefit that they really want to hear.
And also, sometimes the benefit is, how cool can we make your venue? Think about that.
Right. Enhance the atmosphere, the reputation.
Yeah. I mean, even if you don't have a built-in crowd, let's say a tiki bar opens up. Again, you got to be aware. Listen, my mantra and my driving force for my career, and believe me, I've been through so many different incarnations of myself. I'm probably on Billy Gride's 12.2, 0.4 right now,
right.
Is knowing what the trends are and filling the needs. Because I don't mind, not that I'm a musical prostitute per se, but because I still play what I like. But I like a lot of things, and I can find different ways to fill needs with my music. And I think that's what you need to do, too. Everybody needs to do that because it's much better. Musicians should play music. They shouldn't be flipping burgers. They shouldn't be working at a big box store. They should be playing music. And so if you have the opportunity, even if you have to play covers, there's nothing wrong with playing covers. A lot of people think that's bad, but, covers can pay the rent, and you can still play originals when you play covers. I'm kind of digressing here, but my point was, let's say a tiki bar opens up, right? And what's better in a tiki bar than somebody up there doing some Jimmy Buffett songs? You know what I'm saying? So they have no music, and you go and say, hey, You know, me and my buddy, he plays bongos, I play guitar. Will you come in here, you know, at a cut rate for a while, and we build up a crowd? You know, we can work a deal. You know, maybe eventually they'll hire the whole band, you know, for the weekend, whatever. But again, it's looking for opportunities and asking. You know, I sound like John F. Kennedy now. Ask not what the venue can do for you. Ask what you can do for the venue.
That's great. I like that. But it's so true. That's the essence of what I'm saying here, without the Boston accent, whatever that is.
Park the car.
You pack the car in the garage.
See, we're back to car talk again. There we go.
It all revolves back to car talk. But and another thing you could do is like put together like a package deal and say, I've got 4 bands that are really interested in coming together to raise money for this local charity, and we've got a combined fan base of so many hundreds or whatever thousands of people, and we're just looking for a venue and we're exploring options. You know, would you like to, you know, would you have a conversation about making, you know, bringing this event to your place where we're considering others? It's another way to do it if you don't have, you know, a track record, is that you do all the work for them. You know, I've already communicated with all these bands. We're just looking for a place and a date, you know. But I got 2 examples of things that I've done that goes along with this. There was a period, I don't know, 10 or 15 years ago when I was trying to seek out some solo gigs, and there 2 things happened out of that I think I just want to share here. But one, along the lines of what we're talking about, focusing on what the venue's interested in. So I asked myself, like some of these smaller bars and that, what are they really interested in? And it's the cash register ring, but specifically it's like selling drinks or selling food. So I sent out a postcard once years ago where the headline on the postcard was, "I want to help you sell more beer." And then under that, it was, I think it might have said, and bagels or whatever, the food item. And then I went into who I was and what type of music I would play. And I would be doing these fun songs and sing-alongs and all this stuff. But it didn't start off focusing on me. You know, it didn't start like, Bob Baker available to play your venue as I'm looking for a place to play my music. It was like, I want to help you sell. So I went directly to what I thought. And I remember a venue person saying, wow, that was really a unique, I never heard anybody use that approach. And it actually ended up with, you know, playing some or booking some gigs as a result. So, what do you think of that, Mr. President?
That's right, man. I'm not just the president; I'm also a client. But I'm just full of little tidbits today, aren't I? I mean that's exactly right. I mean, again, what have you done for them lately? Really, that's what it boils down to, you know. And I know so many artists, and I'm not going to name names here. I just, you know, I can't do it. But I have been in contact with so many artists and read so many tweets and Facebook posts where artists are angry or disappointed with the venues for not promoting them and for not getting them a crowd and all that stuff. And by the same token, I hear all these venues saying, well, that band didn't bring in a crowd and they didn't do any promotion or didn't draw anything. Well, I'll tell you what. In that case, guys, you got to take the high ground, okay? Just assume that nobody's going to do the work for you, okay? No matter how awesome. Let's say you got a gig at the House of Blues. You just can't expect the House of Blues is going to, like, put you on the Letterman show and be promoting the crap out of you. You know, if you're lucky enough to get a gig at the House of Blues, you better be out there, like, everywhere, you know, handing out flyers, you know, doing podcasts, doing it yourself. I mean, this is a DIY thing, you know, and you're responsible. If people don't show up, it's not the venue's fault. It's really not. It's your fault. But, however, I will say this. If you go in there and if people don't show up, but you blow the roof off the place, like there was 10,000 people in there, and you blow the venue away, they will actually feel bad about not getting you a crowd because you were so awesome and you played your heart out to an empty room. So, again, it really does follow you. People don't like to take responsibility sometimes, but you know, you want the gigs, you know, you want to get out there, you want to, you know, be a rock star, whatever it is, you got to do the work. It's that simple. And it is simple. It just takes work, you know?
Yeah, that's a core tenet of success, really, is to take 100% responsibility for all the circumstances of your life. You know, it's really easy to blame other people and the economy and the venue and you know, there are situations where people will take advantage of bands. You don't want to take the subservient, you know, I'm here to serve you too far, because then people will go, oh, you know, can you come in and play for free? And you know, and so you got to, you know where to draw the line.
Right. I have a few things to say about playing for free. All right.
Okay, and then I got one more tip at the end. Yeah, then I want to add.
So yeah, let me do the. See, like we're working out the show here, folks. We're actually having our show rehearsal right now. So just talk amongst yourselves for a moment here, so me and Bob get it together.
Huddle up.
Okay. All right. 42. Omaha. Okay. Here's what we're gonna do. About playing for free, and then we'll give you Bob's super tip, and then we'll probably wrap it up for this week. And who knows, this might go into a third. We'll see where we'll see where the last tip goes. Okay, so here's the deal: playing for free. All right, somebody wants you to play for free. Fine, make sure you know why you're doing it. All right, if nothing else, make sure you're getting something. Say, okay, well, fine. Can you feed us? All right, I mean that's important. You know, food is not cheap. Can you pay for our gas? You know, are you covering the expense of the light man or the backline gear or the sound equipment? You know, are you going to try and book us on some radio shows or morning talk shows so we can go out there and promote your club? You know, morning shows are always looking for people to perform, you know, and a lot of times the venues don't even think of these things. These are things that the venue could do that's either not going to cost them any money or it's free, that they can help to promote the show and have a better show too. And then there's also a golden opportunity if you're going to play for free. Make sure that you play in places that hopefully will have a crowd for whatever reason, like it's a special event or it's a lot of bands on the bill. And take that time to, you know, get some great video, get some great testimonials, get video testimonials. You know, maybe you're not playing out a lot, so you're doing a couple of free gigs. Now this is your golden opportunity to make it look like you're playing out at the hottest clubs and having the biggest crowds, and turn that into your video sales letter, which is something we've never really talked about before. Maybe we do need a part 3 for this.
Yeah, I think last week when we were talking about, EPKs and the importance of video and booking gigs. Yeah, so yeah, that's definitely an important thing. Yeah.
So that's my thought. If I have no problem. I mean, I've been in the business for 40 years now, and I still have no problem playing for free. If I just don't go for that, oh, it's great exposure for your band. Okay, prove it to me. You know, let's talk. You know what I mean? And right. if it's not great exposure, at least, throw me some pizzas and some pop or whatever. You know what I mean? And, and then get the rest of the guys whatever they want, because I eat a lot,
Cool. Yeah, I eat a lot.
It'd be cheaper to pay the band, dude. It'd be cheaper to pay the band.
If you knew how much I ate, you would just go ahead and pay us.
All right, so Bob.
So my last tip here. Yeah. So one more thing I just want to talk about. So back in this era when I was sending out the "I want to help you sell more beer" postcard, I remember there was like a Friday afternoon, and I was like, I was determined to book these gigs. So the first step, as I mentioned earlier, is you need to have the name of a person, the contact information. So my intent or my goal in this Friday afternoon was just to call some venues that I had in mind, and just to get the name of the person. I wanted to create a little mini database, and then I was going to start mailing stuff and following up with phone calls the next week. But like the second place that I call, they go, Fred. I keep on using the name Fred. Fred. This is use the name Fred and whatever you do. But Fred books it. Oh, actually, he's right here. I'll let you talk to him. And so I got on the phone with Fred, and I'm going, I'm just kind of, I told him what I was up to and the kind of music that I played, and he said something that really shocked me. He said, well, "What are you doing tonight?"
Oh my gosh!
He said, "Yeah, we got nothing going on here. If you want, why don't you just come on in this evening?" And so I had to scramble and get my guitar amp from the place where we practiced, where my band was practicing at the time, and I played a gig that night at his place. And I shared this story with when I used to teach my music marketing 101 class at Berkeley. One of my students said that there was a band, I think they were in Seattle or somewhere in that part of the country. They were called the Last Minute Men, and they were like the band that was known to fill in. If somebody canceled, you could call this band, and if they were available, they would be available on short notice to come and fill in. So that's like an often overlooked thing, is like, be ready to play a gig tonight. because that could come up. And if you're available and quick and nimble, you might get a lot of gigs that way too.
Wow. I love that. That's happened to me. I love that story. That's a great story. All right, Bob. So we need homework for these fine folks.
Yeah, homework. And I have an idea for next week's show already.
All right. Well, let's do it.
So homework. How about crafting from? Okay, yeah. We and what we've been doing in recent episodes is we each kind of give our own little tidbit of homework that we make up on the spot. But for me, it's craft a message, whether it's an email or whether you're going to be saying something on a voicemail, or craft a little mini script. Don't read it word for word, like a robot, but just but craft a message that focuses on what's in it for the venue person. Okay, and so this takes a little bit of time. Practice saying it, and so instead of, hi, my name is Bob, I play in a band called such and such, and we do that, like a whole 2 paragraphs of just who you are and what you do. Start it off, hey, this is Bob from the Flesh Tones. Love your venue. I was just there for the XYZ show. You gotta love the vibe of the place. I got an idea I want to run by you to maybe help you make some money. Here's the deal. And then go into what's your music. So craft something along those lines that you can start using and see if it makes a difference.
I like to add one thing to that. Whenever you make those calls, if they're actual phone calls, know the best time to and not to call a venue.
Right.
Owner, operator, promoter, whatever. Like I know sometimes, if it's a bar, they have certain hours where they have lunches or they have beer deliveries, and you want to avoid those. That's just a little sidebar there.
Absolutely perfect. Yeah, if it's a restaurant, that they avoid lunch. Yeah, avoid the high traffic times.
Right. Okay. I don't really have any extra homework. Well, actually, I do. Fine. I got a great homework for you. Here's what I want you to do. I want somebody out there to actually, all of you, I want everybody to listen. And I know we get somewhere between 100 to 500 listens, downloads a week of the show. Thank you. By the way, Bob, we haven't had a chance to thank the people.
Thank you, people.
Thank you so much. You have no idea. When we started this thing, we just thought it'd be a fun way to get together and chat, and get the stuff out of our heads. But we didn't know people would be listening. This is so cool. We love you.
Calling us from New Zealand. I mean, right. Come on. We're reaching people around the globe.
That's right. So our wonderful call from New Zealand got me thinking. Here's what I want everyone that listens to the show to do this. Like, everybody, pick up the phone. Bob's going to give you the number and tell me why you should play a gig for free. What benefit is there for you? How could you make it worth your while that you would actually seek out a gig for free? And how do they contact us, Bob?
Well, if you wanted to use the same method that our friend Lisa from New Zealand did, it's this website called SpeakPipe, and I've got an account set up there at speakpipe.com/Mr. Buzzfactor. So it's Speak, SPEAKPIPE, all one word, .com/MR Buzzfactor. Go there, and you can use your smartphone, you can use your computer, as long as there's a microphone set up, and you can send us a audio message digitally. So Beautiful. It's very cool. So
our 15-minute show is now coming in at around 30 minutes again. So before we go, tell us where we can find you, Bob, and what exciting class, product, or special event you got going on.
Yeah, just thebuzzfactor.com. So I'm known as Mr. Buzzfactor on social media. The website is thebuzzfactor.com, where I'm always posting these episodes and blog posts, and you can get a free copy of my music marketing secrets report and other cool stuff. That's all I'm going to promote now. Follow me at Mr. Buzzfactor on Twitter. And how about you, Billy?
I'm actually relaunching the musicmarketingmind.com website.
That's very cool.
That's it.
So last week we talked about what to do before the gig. Yep. This week we talked about how to book the gig. Yep. Next week, should we talk about what to do at the gig while you're performing?
Yes.
Maybe.
And let's go for a part 4.
Ooh.
This is what to do at the gig. And you know what it is? What you do. Say it with me, Bob. After the gig. Yeah.
Ooh, nice.
Dude, a 4-part series.
Damn. We're just, you keep, last time was a 3-part, now it's a 4-part. Man, we're just going into uncharted territory here.
I love it. Well, that means there's going to be at least 2 more episodes at least.
We don't have to think so much next week.
That's great, man. All right, okay. Bob. All right, yes. Thank you, man. And thank you all.
Thanks again, Lisa. Thank you for listening. We'll be back at you next week on Lounge Monday.